to a practice to free up the low back and create some space around the hips as well. So we'll get started laying down. And you'll see here I do have 2 yoga blocks available for practice. They are helpful but not necessary. So come down onto your back and we'll come into constructive rest. So knees bent, feet towards the edges of your mat, and let your knees knock in and rest on one another, and allow the palms to come to the belly. And I just kind of spontaneously took a full body exhale. The comfort and the safety of being on the floor, really releasing in my body. So as you lay yourself down, allow the eyes to close or the gaze just to soften. Feel yourself kind of melt around the bony structure of your body, muscles softening, skin smoothing out. Begin to tune into the natural flow of your breath. As you tune into your breath, you might notice your hands on your belly are moving slightly. Beginning to see if you can expand the breath in the belly region. So beginning to exaggerate the rise and fall of the hands. Thinking of your belly almost like a balloon, inflating and deflating. Doing your best to isolate the breath in this deep lower chamber of the abdomen. You can think of your breath almost like a massage for the inner organs, pelvis. Noticing as you inhale, the hands rise, but there's also this expansion on the back side, at the low back and the waist. And as you exhale, there's a gentle narrowing of the low back. Feeling this three-dimensional quality of the breath around your belly. Softening around the tailbone, the groins. Just using your breath as a soft entry point. Take one more really focused belly breath. And you can let that go. Draw your knees into your chest and bring your hands behind your thighs or behind your knees, or you could take hold of the kneecaps and just begin to rock a little bit side to side, feeling a massage across the back of the pelvis at the sacrum. And you might keep your knees closer together. You might explore widening the knees and just notice how that changes the experience. Having a moment to be kind of playful and curious. And if your knees are wide apart, bring them back towards center and do your best to stack your knees right on top of your hips. So right hand to right kneecap, left hand to left kneecap. And stacking your knees directly on top of your hips. Now press your knees into your hands and resist your hands on your knees. Feel this gentle press of the low back into the mat. And again, resume that belly breath as you send the breath low into that connection between low back and earth. Face is soft. Take one more breath here. Once again, return your hands behind your knees or thighs and take a little rock and roll up and down your spine, getting this massage, having a little fun. If your eyes have been closed, you might begin to blink them open and then rock yourself up to a cross-legged seat. Now, I'm going to face you. We'll move more towards a square pose. So that means trying to get your feet in line with your knees. So it takes a little setting up to widen your feet in line with your knees. And bring a little flexion into the ankle. So that means pulling the toes back towards the shin and beginning to feel this connection of outer edges to feet and earth. Bring your fingertips by your side and sit up nice and tall. You could sit up on a blanket here. Take a moment to let the pelvis descend and to lengthen your spine. The face is soft. Begin to slide your right hand wide and reach your left fingertips to the sky. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, lean over to your right. It's a little side bend. Little pressure of the outer edges of feet on earth and lengthen the left side of your body. Feel the breath move through the left side rib cage as you lengthen all the way from the sitting bones through those left fingertips. Now come out of this deep side bend just a little bit. Take an inhale to get long, and then fold diagonally over your right knee. Left fingertips reach out on the diagonal. Now a little tuck of chin to chest here to keep the back of the neck long. And breathe into the left side of the low back, the waist. And the right hand is just an accessory, so you can play around with your angles and your own experience so that you feel supported and like that right hand is useful. Take one more deep, low breath here. Shimmy your left fingertips towards the midline and stretch the right arm next to the left. Take a fold over your shin. Breathing into the whole back side of the body and maintaining that little tuck of chin to chest, lengthening the base of the skull out in front of you. Filling the whole back side of the body with your breath. And begin to walk hands in and rise up. And take a breath. Bring your hands behind you, lean back and recross your legs so the opposite shin is in front. And again, trying to shimmy your feet towards your knees. So there's this widening of the feet, which does take some setting up, yeah? Now you curl the toes back towards the shin, so you're beginning to feel your outer hips perhaps speak to you, and then fingertips by your side just to give you this lovely length. Yeah, and send the breath low, low, low. Right, using our breath to really nurture this part of our body. And then slide the left palm a little wider, reach the right fingertips to the sky, take an inhale, and then lean up and over to your left. Now keep the right sitting bone heavy and think of wrapping the heart to the sky. Breath is just exploring the right side of your body, finding this beautiful length and continuity here. And press out of this side bend just a little bit, so you lift a little. Take an inhale, and on the diagonal, fold over your left knee. Your right fingertips reach as far as you can. And then once you find your edge, soften into it and keep the right sitting bone plugged into your mat. Left hand gets curious. Mine actually shimmies behind me a little bit to give me a little bit of leverage. Breathe into the whole right side of the body. Maybe feel some newfound space around the side of your waist. Take one more breath. And then wiggle your right fingertips towards the midline and stretch the left arm next to the right. I'm not tented fingertips here. Curl the fingertips away, but plug in through your sitting bones. Release the crown of the head, little tuck of chin to chest. Then the breath does the rest of the work. You set yourself up in this shape, and then you soften and surrender into it. And slowly walk your hands in and rise up. Take a breath. Wonderful. Coming into a downward facing dog from here. Adho Mukha Svanasana. So having your blocks available at the top of your mat if you are in fact using them, and coming into your dog pose. Taking a moment just to stretch out the backs of the legs and maybe to wiggle in any sort of way that feels good for you. And smoothing the palms into the mat, spreading through the fingers, and reach the sitting bones up and back, softening the knees, feeling into your edges here. Bring your big toes to touch at the very back of the mat. Bend your knees quite generously and press your belly towards your thighs. Reach the butt up in the air. Maybe create a little bit more space through the lower spine. Reach and press with the hand. Let the head be heavy. Belly moving towards upper thighs. Reach your right leg up and back for three-legged dog. So it's a big reach of the right leg. Then we're going to stack the right foot between the hands, and you can absolutely help it along and take your time. Once you arrive, lower your back knee down and untuck the back toes. Right ankle is stacked beneath the right knee. Now think of placing your belly and your right rib cage on your right thigh like a shelf. And then from here, allow the head to hang absolutely heavy. Let the pelvis descend. And continue that belly breathing. So you're actually breathing into this compression on the right side. Fingertips are offering light support. They can be on blocks, absolutely, or resting on the earth. And find that three-dimensional belly breath. Feeling your bony structure, offering you some support. One more breath here. Begin to pick up your gaze slightly and tuck your back toes and lift your back knee. This is where blocks might be helpful, so you might bring them to frame your front foot. As if you're stepping forward, your back ankle hooks behind your front. So the pinky edge sides of your feet come to touch, and soften your knees. Think of lifting the belly slightly and then draping the spine over the legs. Let the head be heavy. It's a cross-legged fold here. Let the crown of your head be absolutely heavy. A little tuck of chin to chest, and press the feet into the floor. Lift through the sits bones and the inner thigh. Breath meets you here. Walk the blocks out in front of you if you're using them. Think of a flat back. So as you inhale, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, fold. Pick up the belly and drape the spine. We'll do that again. Inhale, flat back, lengthen your spine. And this time as you exhale, walk your hands over to the right and bow. Press the left hip back in space and release the crown of your head. Breathe into the left side body. And walk the hands back through the center. Take one more inhale to lengthen your spine and reset. And exhale to fold forward here. Now you can remove the blocks. Bring your hands towards the earth and step your left foot to the back of the mat. So we're in a lunge shape, and then big reach up and back to three-legged dog. So press the earth away, right leg reaches up and back. We're back in this three-legged dog shape. And then you bend your right knee, roll the hip open, and take a moment here just to yawn through the right side of the body. Feel the strength of your triangular base, two hands and your left foot on the earth. exhale, release to downward facing dog, right toes to the earth. Second side, so bring your big toes to touch at the back of the mat, bend your knees and press your belly towards your thighs. Arms are long and strong. And then your left leg lifts for three-legged dog. On an inhale. And it's a big step of your left foot between your hands. And it could be a smooth step, or you might use a little assistance of your hands. And then lower your back knee down on top of back toes. Left knee is right over left ankle. And then we kind of pick up our belly and place it back down on top of the left thigh. So there's this glued connection between left rib cage, left belly, and left thigh. Now let the head be totally heavy. Feel yourself being supported here and simultaneously offering that support. Right, holding and being held. Breath moves low into the chamber of the belly. And there's a slight pressure through the shoelace side of your back foot as well. Enjoy one more breath here. I could almost fall asleep in this shape. Really calming and grounding. Okay, grab your blocks if you are using them to frame your front foot. Pick up your back knee. And like you're stepping forward, the back ankle hooks behind the front. Pinky edge sides of your feet come to touch, and you bend your knees and feel yourself embrace the midline of the body, the inner seams of the legs. Okay, now pick up the belly and drape the spine. Let the head be totally heavy here. Feel the outer hips widen. Feel the tongue soften in the mouth. A little tuck of chin so back and neck is long. And then like a flat back, bring your blocks out in front of you and inhale to lengthen your spine. Send the sits bones back in space. And exhale to fold. You pick up the belly, soften the knees, and drape the spine. One more flat back just to set it up on an inhale. And walk your hands over to the left and fold again. Think of the outer right hip moving back in space. Breathing into the side body. Last breath here. And then walk yourself back to center. One more flat back just to reset and lengthen the spine. And exhale to fold. Set the blocks off to your side. Bring the hands to the mat. And unhook your back ankle. It's a big step to the back of your mat to three-legged dog. So press the earth away. Reach the left leg all the way up and back. And then as you're ready, bend your left knee. Roll the groin to the sky. The left knee reaches up, the left heel pulls down towards your seat, and your right leg, your standing leg, remains really active here. Okay, take an inhale to downward facing dog, toes to the earth as you exhale. Now bring your feet wide to the edges of your mat, spin your heels in and point your toes out, walk your hands all the way back to meet your feet, and bend your knees, drop down to Malasana, yogi squat. So you drop your pelvis down between your calves, your ankles, your heels. And I like to really work my upper arm bones into the thighs, the inner thighs, and manually widen here. And you press the palms together and let the pelvis descend. Feel the pelvic floor relax. And feel the buoyancy and brightness of your spine all the way through the crown of the head. Pressing palms together and deepening your breath. Maybe your eyes even close. Take one more breath like this. We're going to bring our bum to the floor, so you can use your hands to help you, or knowing that it's not too far away, you can block. Then we'll bring the soles of our feet together and our knees wide, and we're in the diamond shape here, so you don't need to have your heels super close. In fact, they can be a little further away. Now bring your right hand behind you and your left hand to your left thigh bone, not the knee or the hip, but the thigh bone, the fleshy part. And begin to press your left thigh bone down, 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 and spin yourself over to the right. So it's kind of a variation of a twist here. Now as you guide the left thigh bone down, send the breath into the left side, low belly. You might feel some nice decompression here through the front of the left hip. And then let that go, and we'll set up for the other side. So your left hand comes behind your right hand to your right thigh bone, and it's a pretty firm press of the thigh bone down and away. Spin your heart to the left. And you might have to kind of experiment with the placement of your hands, the amount of pressure, right? You're really participating in your own experience. And then unwind yourself, come back to center, and bring your hands to your ankles, and maybe rock a little bit side to side, feel your sits bones on the earth. And we'll move through some cat-cow of the spine from here. So find the pendulum of your breath, right? That sway of in to out. And on your next inhale, rock forward on the pelvis, press the heart forward, slide shoulders away from the ears. And exhale, lean back, little tuck of the tail, chin to chest, spread the shoulder blades behind the heart. Two more, so inhale towards your cow-like spine, opening the heart. And exhale, leaning back, spread the shoulder blades, little tug on the ankles if you like. We'll take one more inhale. And exhale. Sit up tall, neutral spine as you breathe in. And just take a breath out. Use your hands, close your knees like you are closing a book here. Now I'm going to shimmy my feet a little further away from me so that I feel nice and steady. I don't feel like I'm going to lean back or fall forward. Okay, so find that place for you where you feel steady with your knees bent. And then bring your arms and wrap them around your legs. So you could take hold of opposite hand or wrist, maybe opposite forearm, maybe opposite elbows. The goal here is to get some belly and thigh connection. So feel some compression through the belly region on the thighs. Now begin to soften your forehead towards your knees. It may or may not touch, doesn't matter. And then send the breath into the low back, the mid back, creating this little ball here. Now you can stay here with your knees bent, or begin to walk your feet a little further out in front of you, but we want to keep the belly and thigh connection. So if the belly lifts away from the thighs, you're going too far, okay? So keep belly glued to thighs, walk your feet out as much as works for you, and your knees will be bent because your arms are wrapped around your legs in some form or fashion. Belly on thighs, and then maybe relax the head once again, and breathe into this compression. Letting breath explore space, create space. Release your clasp of the arms here. Bring your fingertips by your side, and wherever you are, begin to lift up and lengthen your spine. Take a breath. Wonderful. Bend your knees. Scoot your butt forward so you have space to lower all the way down onto your back. Once you arrive on your back, take a full body stretch. Reach your arms, reach your legs. Such a nice moment when you reconnect with the earth, feeling your body supported. And then you bend your knees and hug them in towards your chest. Take a moment, rock side to side, self-soothe here. And then lower your feet to the floor, knees bent, and cross your left ankle on top of your right knee, setting up for a figure four. So as as you press the left knee energetically away from you, the outer left hip might begin to communicate already. You could stay here, great place to stay, or draw the right knee into your chest and hands interlace behind the right thigh. Or maybe around the front of your right knee or shin. Once again, letting the breath move into the belly, the waist. Might rock a little bit side to side. Noticing as you exhale, the belly pulls back towards the spine, and there might be a little more space somewhere. If the right foot is off of the mat, lower it back down, please. And then cross the left knee fully over the right, like you're sitting in a chair, okay? Arms come out to a T or cactus, and scoot your hips over to the left a couple of inches and let your knees fall over to the right. We're taking a twist with our legs braided. And see if you can draw your knees in line with your belly button, so you have to pull them up a little bit higher. I like to bring my right hand to the bundle of the legs, just offering some light support, kind of a gesture of your own companionship in this moment. And you could let the gaze roll over to the left side, away from the knees. And let the breath take it from here. Let the breath do all the remaining work. Letting the bones become heavy. And then unwind yourself and take care of yourself as you transition out of this big twisted shape. And bring your feet to the floor, knees bend, reposition the pelvis, the middle of your mat, and then begin to windshield wipe your legs side to side, just kind of resetting the pelvis and the spine, offering yourself a nice massage. And bring the knees back to center, and right ankle crosses on top of your left knee. Now the right ankle is flexed, so again, the toes pulled back towards the shin. You stay here. This might be more than enough sensation. Or you draw your left knee in towards your chest and use the help of your hands to take hold of the left leg somewhere that feels secure and helpful. So the right knee gently presses away, and please soften the neck and shoulders and collarbone region, the jaw as well. It's really tempting to work hard through the arms here. But see if a little more ease can be brought into this shape. And breath guides you to that source of ease, that source of softness in a really intense shape. And even in the intense moments of our lives, the breath offers us a chance to be present, to slow down, to pause, and bring in a little more gentleness or softness into our experience. Lower your left foot back to the floor if it is elevated, and then cross your right knee fully over the left. Arms outstretched, scoot your hips to the right a couple inches, and let your knees fall to the left on an exhale. And again, draw your knees in line with your belly button so they're a little higher up. You'll feel a little bit of a stretch, or maybe a big stretch, for your outer left hip and low back. My left hand is coming to the legs to rest. And you might roll your gaze over to the right. Fill the shape with your breath. The breath is full, but it's also relaxed and easeful. And we train ourselves over and over again on the mat to find our breath. Whether we're moving or whether we're in a more still shape, we find our breath, and then we hope when we step off of our mat and out into the world, we're trained to find our breath. even in moments of overwhelm or confusion or challenge. My breath is our entry point. Breath is our guide. It's our companion. Slowly help yourself all the way out. Take care of yourself in this transition. If you have any final wiggle in your body that you'd like, now would be the time before you allow yourself the practice of Shavasana, the practice of rest, the practice of integration. So taking Shavasana in any shape that is absolutely comfortable for you. So that could involve propping, that could involve some experimentation. But place yourself in a shape that you can be totally relaxed, totally comfortable. Allow all the effort in your body to subside. Even the sneaky effort around the jawline or around the eyes or in the belly. And in what might be the most yogic part of this whole practice, we practice non-doing. We practice letting go. Please stay in Shavasana as long as is right for you, as long